Hello everyone. This video is going to show you how to use offline mode in Polaris and to load those offline files back into online mode once Polaris is back from a maintenance. Now this video, it does not apply if your internet access is down at your library and you want to work in offline mode. There'll be more on that later. So as you can see here from my screen that I've logged on to start.illinoisheartland.org. I'm going to go ahead and click on Polaris Live just like I normally would and log on to Polaris. I will accept the message of the day here at the beginning. And when I get to the logon mode, when we're down for maintenance, if you actually tried to log on with your normal password, it's going to give you an error that you're not allowed to. So we've actually locked you out. So we're going to work in offline mode down here. It's going to gray out the password field. We don't need that as long as you have a valid username and the computer that you're on is registered on Polaris. We're going to say OK. And our Polaris bar, I'm going to drag onto the screen here, is mostly grayed out. It almost appears like we're not logged on to Polaris, but we are. We're in offline mode. And if we go to circulation, we can do two things: check in and check out. We can also do patron registrations. But we're going to request that you don't do the patron registrations in offline mode because it complicates the uploading of files. So for this time, we're going to ask you to do patron registrations with pencil and paper, and we're going to test that more in the future. So I'm going to do a quick checkout here just so we have some data to work with. And I'm going to check some bogus books out to myself. You'll notice actually in offline mode now that if we enter a valid patron, that the patron name will come up and it'll tell you the registered branch. Also, if you have any fines or any major blocks on your account, it will show that on the screen. Now, it's not a full patron record, but for the bad blocks like fines and overdues, it'll show you those things. So I'm going to check out a bogus book here, hit enter. Let's check out another bogus book. And I can just keep doing that just like normal. I'll hit enter on a blank field to reset the record, and I'm ready for my next patron. I'm going to assume that it's the end of the day and we're ready to exit. All the offline files are automatically saved, so you just exit out of Polaris like you normally would. And we're going to log into online mode. So now I come back. This is the next morning, so you've gotten an email to say Polaris is back online, log on like you normally would. So we're going to accept the message and we're coming back to our logon box. Now the logon box may look a little different than this after the upgrade to 4.1 R2 of Polaris. It may have a slightly different look, but everything's basically the same. So we're going to enter our password, say OK. Our Polaris bar is back to normal. It's got everything highlighted. And when I go to the circulation menu, we're going to go to a place that maybe you've never been before. It's called Bookmobile. This is where we actually upload our offline files. Now, I strongly encourage you to run Bookmobile from the machine that you ran offline mode in. Okay? If you come to Bookmobile and there's no files here, you can go to Tools and Options and then say for the logged on users branch. And this will show you all the offline files for your entire branch. I don't recommend you doing this unless you don't see any files on the first screen. So now we have the one file that we created that is in offline mode and it's ready to be uploaded. This free days, you can say, say we're down for 2 days in offline mode. You can give 2 free days that allow your patrons to not accrue fines while they were in offline mode. So this will give us kind of a penalty-free 2 days. If you say 0, everything is time-stamped. So if they checked it in offline mode and you know it was on time, even though you're uploading the file now, they will not be accrued fines because the transactions in the offline files are date stamped. So Polaris is smart enough to know when the actual check-in occurred. So we're going to come over here, we're going to upload that file, and we're going to select the continue. It's the default option. We're just going to say OK. Alright, that was a quick load. Yours may take a little longer if they have a lot of transactions. If you want to see the log, you can highlight the log file here and say View Report. Now in my case, I've got 2 errors, and if anyone can guess why, you earn a gold star. My patron is fine. It found me, Troy M. Brown, in the database and said that's okay, but no matching item record was found. Well, that was because I entered bogus item numbers because I didn't have any books in front of me. So I got an error. Normally, you would see a complete or an OK transaction. You may see some warnings, and warnings mean that the transaction happened, there was no problems, but there was some information that came up that you might want to be aware of. A book needs to be put in transit or something like that. That's why we're encouraging you to only check in and check out books that belong to your library or books that are going directly to your patrons. If you get some books in delivery and you know that they're going to your patrons, and you already know what patron they're going to, it's okay to check that book out from another library to one of your patrons. But when it comes back, just put it off to the side, and once Polaris is back online, you can check that book in so that Polaris can tell you that it needs to go to another library, and it'll print the receipt for you for that transit slip. Once you've loaded all your files from the top window, from oldest to newest, and your screen appears like this, you may have several log files depending on the number of files you have in your top screen. You simply close out of the bookmobile and go to other computers now that may have offline transactions on them. Obviously, the fewer computers that you use during offline time, the easier that this whole process is. So if you can do all your offline transactions from one computer, we really encourage you to do that. It's just going to simplify things. But I'm back in online mode now, and I can continue right where I left off in full access to Polaris with all the bells and whistles that you're used to. I hope you had a great offline period. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have any questions, check out share.illinoisheartland.org or just give us a call, use the help desk, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Thanks a lot.